The day a congresswoman destroyed Fox News with receipts. Imagine walking into the lion's den, knowing they're planning to devour you, but you got something they never expected. That's exactly what happened when 33-year-old Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stepped into the Fox and Friends studio, and what she did next would change political interviews forever. The tension was electric. Ainsley Earhardt, Fox News' sweetheart with her perfectly styled blonde hair and sugar-sweet smile, sat across from the young Texas congresswoman. This was supposed to be routine, another Democratic politician getting steamrolled on morning television. But Crockett had come prepared for war. The topic was voting rights. But that's not really what the story is about. This is about what happens when someone refuses to be silenced. Congresswoman, let's talk about your voting rights bill. Earhart began with that trademark Fox News smile. Many Americans are concerned that Democrats want to make it easier for people to vote illegally. Crockett tried to respond. Well, Ainsley, that's actually not what the bill does at all. If I could just explain. But Congresswoman, Earhart cut in smoothly. Don't you think requiring an ID to vote is just common sense? First interruption. Crockett noticed, but stayed calm. Ainsley, I think there's a misunderstanding about what voter ID laws actually do in practice. I have data here that shows. Data can be manipulated, though, can it? Earhart interjected again, her smile never wavering. Second interruption. The pattern was becoming clear. For 6 straight minutes, this dance continued. Every time Crockett tried to explain the facts about voting rights, Earhart would cut her off with talking points and loaded questions. The civil rights attorney turned congresswoman had faced hostile judges and opposing attorneys, but she could feel her patience wearing thin. By the 6th interruption, something had changed in Crockett's demeanor. The camera caught it, that moment when someone who's been pushed too far decides to push back. Ainsley, Crockett said, her voice carrying a new edge, you've now interrupted me 6 times in 6 minutes. You clearly have no intention of letting me explain the actual facts about voting rights, but I came prepared for exactly this kind of behavior. Then she did something that no one saw coming. Crockett reached into her folder and pulled out a single sheet of paper. The camera caught a glimpse of what looked like a transcript with highlighted sections. I did my research on the show and your interview tactics, she continued, her voice growing stronger. And I brought something that I think your viewers need to see. Earhart's composure cracked for just a moment. This wasn't in the script. This is a transcript of your interview last month with Congressman Jim Jordan about election integrity, Crockett announced, holding up the paper for the camera to see. Would you like to know how many times you interrupted him during that 7-minute segment? The studio went dead quiet. 0 times, Ainsley. Not once. In fact, you said, and I quote, Congressman Jordan, please take all the time you need to explain this important issue to our viewers. But Crockett wasn't done. She pulled out another sheet of paper, this one with a simple chart. I also had my staff analyze your interviews with 5 other Democratic members of Congress over the past 3 months. The average number of interruptions per interview? 14. Meanwhile, your interviews with Republican members of Congress average 1.2 interruptions per interview. The Fox and Friends studio, usually buzzing with activity, had gone completely silent. Camera operators and producers stopped what they were doing to watch this unprecedented moment unfold. Then Crockett gestured to someone off camera, and suddenly the studio's main screen lit up with a devastating split-screen compilation. On one side, clips of Earhart interviewing Republicans, nodding encouragingly, asking softball questions. On the other side, clips of her interviewing Democrats, constantly interrupting and asking hostile questions. Your viewers can see for themselves. Crockett narrated as the video played. Here's you with Senator Ted Cruz, letting him speak for 3 uninterrupted minutes. Here's you with me today, interrupting me 6 times in 6 minutes. The evidence was overwhelming. The bias wasn't subtle. It was undeniable. I've been a civil rights attorney for 8 years, Crockett continued, her legal training evident in how she was methodically building her case. I know how to recognize bias, how to document it, and how to prove it. And what I've proven here today is that Fox and Friends doesn't conduct interviews with Democrats. You conduct ambushes. Earhart was visibly shaken now. Her media training had never prepared her for this. The question your viewers should be asking, Crockett pressed on, is why you're so afraid to let Democrats explain their positions. What are you so scared they might hear? Then came the moment that would define both their careers. Ainsley, you've interrupted me 6 times, and you were about to do it a 7th time. But I want to give you a chance to explain to your viewers why you think interrupting Democrats 14 times for interview while giving Republicans uninterrupted platforms is fair journalism. The challenge hung in the air. Earhardt opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time in her career, she was completely speechless. "I'm waiting," Crockett said simply. The silence stretched for what felt like an eternity. 10 seconds that felt like forever in television time. The moment the interview ended, social media exploded. Within minutes, #JasmineSchoolsAinsley was trending nationwide. The clip was shared thousands of times per minute across every platform. Conservative viewers who had tuned in expecting to see another Democratic politician get steamrolled instead witnessed something unprecedented. A Fox News host completely outmaneuvered and exposed on her own show. Within 6 hours, the clip had been viewed over 2 million times. Other networks picked up the story immediately. Media critics called it a masterclass in how to combat biased interview tactics. But here's what's really remarkable. Crockett had done something that changed the game forever. She proved that media bias wasn't just a feeling or an opinion. It was a measurable, documentable phenomenon that could be exposed and challenged. Other Democratic politicians began adopting her approach, coming to interviews armed with data and evidence. The era of unprepared Democrats being ambushed on conservative media was effectively over. 6 months later, when asked about the interview, Crockett reflected, "I went on Fox News that day to talk about voting rights. I ended up teaching America about media manipulation. Sometimes the most important conversations happen when you refuse to let someone silence you." She paused and added with a slight smile, "But the most important thing is that now other people know they don't have to accept biased treatment either. They can document it, they can expose it, and they can demand better." The age of accountability in political journalism had begun, and it started with one congresswoman who refused to be silenced and came prepared with receipts.